On August 14th, the universe will use someone you trust the most to reveal what's truly in your heart. This is not a coincidence, and it's not just another day on the calendar. The moment you clicked on this message, your spirit already knew this was meant for you. You didn't stumble here by chance. You were pulled here, summoned almost, because the days ahead are already written, and God wanted you to have the blueprint before the moment arrives. On that day, the veil will be thin, and the one person you thought you could count on, whether it's a family member, a partner, a lifelong friend, or even a mentor, will become the instrument of your divine examination. They will say something, do something, or withhold something in a way that pierces you, not to destroy you, but to draw out the deepest truth of who you are right now. You must understand, this will not feel like a random misunderstanding or a passing disagreement. It will feel personal. It will feel sharp. It will feel as if the ground beneath your trust has shifted. And in that moment, heaven will be watching, not to see if you fall, but to see if you rise in a way you never have before. This is your advance warning. This is your confirmation that August 14th is not about them, it's about you, your growth, and your readiness for the next assignment that has been hovering over your life, waiting for your spirit to align. Chosen one, when God sets a date in the heavens, nothing and no one can alter it. August 14th is not merely a point in time, it's a spiritual checkpoint, preordained before you even entered this life. The person nearest to you will not be acting on their own accord entirely. They will be influenced by energies they cannot see, currents they cannot feel, yet you will sense them with clarity. Understand this: the universe often whispers before it roars, but this time the whisper has already reached you in dreams, in strange moments of tension, in sudden feelings that someone close might not be fully aligned. This is your final briefing. The one who will test you may not even realize they are being used as a divine instrument. Their role is not to bless you in that moment, it is to expose something that must be addressed before you can step into your next level. Some mirrors are made of glass. This one will be made of flesh, living and breathing in front of you, carrying a truth your soul must face. The wound it touches may be old, buried beneath years of pretending you've moved on. But God doesn't test what is already perfect, He tests what is ready to be perfected. The alignments on August 14th are rare. Spiritually and astrologically, we will be standing under a sky heavy with opposition and revelation. The moon will carry the emotional charge, stirring tides inside you that you thought you had mastered. Planetary alignments will amplify relational triggers, Venus touching points of karmic tension, Mercury unearthing conversations you thought were settled, and Saturn watching like a strict teacher, ensuring the lesson is fully absorbed. On this day, the people closest to you will be mirrors, reflecting your readiness. And because this is a moment of destiny, the trigger will not come from a stranger, it will come from someone whose voice you cannot easily ignore. A stranger's criticism can roll off your back, but a loved one's sharp word can slip past your defenses and land directly in your spirit. That is why God chooses them for this role, because only someone close enough to hold your heart can also press where it still bleeds. Do you remember the last time you felt blindsided by someone you trusted? Maybe it was the friend who distanced themselves without explanation, the partner who questioned your loyalty, the family member who doubted your calling. Those were not random betrayals, they were rehearsals. Each one was a smaller stage, preparing you for this grand examination. On August 14th, the difference is that you will be conscious of the test. You will know in real time that this is not about proving yourself to them. It is about proving yourself to the one who called you. The challenge will be that every fiber of your human self will want to react, defend, or retreat. But the spiritual self inside you will know this is the moment to respond from a higher place, to see through the provocation to the lesson beneath it. Understand this mystery. God often tests through the nearest vessel because proximity is power. The closest hands can lift you or push you, and on August 14th, you will know which it is. But here's the divine twist. Sometimes the push is not against you, it is for you. What feels like opposition may actually be acceleration. The discomfort is not meant to pull you away from your destiny, but to push you past the threshold you've been standing at for too long. Think of it as a divine doorway, but the handle is hidden in the moment of offense. Only by choosing patience over reaction, love over retaliation, and faith over fear will you find the way to open it. Astrologically. This day will carry the energy of revelation wrapped in disruption. Uranus will send shockwaves through the most intimate areas of life, and with the moon amplifying emotions, your spiritual discernment will be tested like never before. You may hear words that sting, see actions that seem out of character, or face decisions that force you to choose between your boundaries and your desire for peace. But chosen one, you must remember, this is not punishment. This is the clearing. Before the blessing, God will not let you carry unhealed wounds into your next assignment, because they would bleed onto the work He has called you to do. In the spirit realm, August 14 is like a magnifying glass placed over your relationships. Every flaw, every misalignment, every unspoken truth will come into focus. And because the energy is divinely timed, you cannot bypass it. Ignoring it will not make it disappear. This is why many chosen ones feel tension rising in their closest connections even before the date arrives. It is the Spirit's way of softening the soil so the lesson can be planted. The test is not about winning an argument or proving you are right. It is about demonstrating that your identity is anchored in something deeper than human approval. God uses those closest to us for soul lessons because they bypass the walls we build. You can keep a polite smile with acquaintances. You can hide your weaknesses from the public, but with those nearest to you, the mask eventually slips. That is where the real you is revealed. And God is interested in the real you, not the curated image you show to the world. On August 14th, you will see clearly whether the person closest to you is meant to walk with you into your next season or whether their role was only to carry you this far. This will not be a day of small talk. It will be a day of soul talk. Whether words are spoken or not, past tests have already shown you glimpses of this process. Think back to the moments when you were tempted to compromise your values for someone's approval, or when you were faced with the choice to forgive without receiving an apology. Those were training grounds. They were sharpening your ability to discern, to stand firm, and to respond with grace under fire. The difference now is that August 14th carries a heavier weight in the spirit. This test will not only determine your readiness, it will set the tone for the next chapter of your calling. And so I say this with all the urgency. Heaven has placed in my spirit, do not underestimate the moment. The person closest to you on August 14th will become a living prophecy, a flesh hand blood mirror held up to your soul. What they show you will not be random, it will be exactly what God needs you to confront before He can open the gates you've been praying over. It will feel personal, because it is. But it will not be permanent, lest you fail to see it for what it truly is. This is the day you prove not just that you have faith, but that you can live it when it matters most. Chosen one, the nature of this test will vary from soul to soul, but its core will be the same. The person nearest to you will become the stage on which your faith, patience, and spiritual maturity are displayed. For some, it will come as betrayal, a sudden breach of trust that feels like a dagger in your back. For others, it will come as misunderstanding, words you never said, twisted into something you never meant, forcing you to decide between defending your ego or preserving your peace. For a few, it may come as temptation, an invitation to step out of alignment for the sake of pleasure, comfort, or quick relief. And for others still, it will be emotional provocation, deliberate or unconscious actions that push every old button you thought you'd removed. The test is not in their behavior, it's in your response. The battlefield will not be between you and them, it will be inside your own heart. This is why it is crucial to remember, God does not test you to break you, but to show you what cannot be broken. August 14th will not be a day where heaven is looking for you to be perfected. It will be a day where heaven is looking for you to be faithful. A sudden accusation may come. A door you expected to open may close because of someone's choice. A gesture of love you thought was certain may be withheld. But even in that moment, the Spirit will whisper, "Do you trust me, even now?" This is not about keeping a smile on your face. It's about keeping your soul anchored when the wind tries to uproot you. The person nearest to you will unknowingly draw a line in the sand, and You will have to decide whether to step over it in reaction or stay. Grounded in alignment, the temptation will be strong to interpret the event as rejection or abandonment. But the higher truth is this: the person is not your source, God is. On August 14th, the illusion that another human being holds the keys to your peace, joy, or destiny will be shattered. If they betray you, you will see that loyalty from man is no match for covenant with God. If they misunderstand you, you will learn that the truth does not require constant defense. If they provoke you, you will discover that your emotions no longer dictate your destiny. And if they tempt you, you will stand in the authority that says, I choose the narrow way, even if it costs me comfort today. Chosen one, do not confuse the test with punishment. This is not God striking at you. This is God strengthening you. Just as a soldier trains with weighted armor before the real battle, you are being equipped for what lies ahead. On August 14th, your reaction will not only determine whether you pass this test, but it will set spiritual precedent. Pass it, and your authority in the unseen realm will grow. Fail it, and the lesson will repeat until you are ready. Heaven is patient, but destiny will not open its next chapter until you've proven you can carry it with clean hands and a steady heart. The stakes are not only personal, they are generational. When you pass a test of character, you break cycles that would have ensnared your bloodline. When you respond with grace instead of vengeance, you plant seeds your children and grandchildren will eat from. But if you let offense take root, you risk prolonging a wilderness season you were meant to exit. That is why the energy around August 14th is so charged, because the choices made that day will echo beyond the moment. This is not simply about maintaining a relationship. It's about proving to the spiritual realm that you are a trustworthy steward of influence and blessing. Imagine standing before a door you have prayed for, cried for, fasted for. The key is in your hand, but the test is whether you will drop it in anger when someone nearest to you says something that cuts deep. That is the picture of August 14th. The enemy cannot take the key from you, so he will try to distract you into throwing it away yourself. He will use the voice most familiar to you, the face you least expect, because he knows that a stranger's attack cannot reach where the familiar voice can. This is not meant to make you paranoid. It's meant to make you prepared. In some cases, the test will feel so sudden you won't realize what's happening until after the first wave passes. You might wake up to a message that shifts your mood, or hear a tone in someone's voice that carries a sting. You might notice old insecurities rising, thoughts like maybe I'm not enough, or why are they treating me this way? This is where your discernment must rise above your emotions. You will have to pause and say, wait, this is the test. This is the mirror. I will not fail it. That one moment of awareness can mean the difference between passing and repeating the cycle. You must also prepare for the possibility that the test will expose truths you are not ready to face. Sometimes the person closest to you truly is out of alignment with where God is taking you. Sometimes their season in your life is ending, and sometimes their actions are not meant to remove them from your life, but to heal the place in you that still looks to them for what only God can provide. Either way, August 14th will bring clarity. The curtain will lift, the fog will clear, and you will see who they really are and who you really are in God's eyes. The karmic consequences of this day are real. If you allow anger, pride, or fear to dictate your choices, you may find yourself circling the same mountain for another season. But if you respond with wisdom, patience, and spiritual vision, you will step into blessings that have been waiting for your maturity. Passing this test is like unlocking a vault that has been sealed not because you weren't loved, but because you weren't yet ready to steward what was inside. This is the day the lock is tested, and let me tell you, chosen one, passing the test will not mean you win over the other person. It will mean you win over yourself. It will mean that offense could not own you, temptation could not seduce you, and fear could not cage you. It will mean you chose to see through heaven's eyes when it would have been easier to see through the eyes of hurt. This is the true victory. And when heaven sees that you can walk in that kind of strength, the doors you've been praying for will not only open, they will stay open, because you have proven you can walk through them without letting them close. On your character, chosen one, preparation for August 14th begins now. The test is coming whether you are ready or not, but your readiness will determine the outcome. The first and most vital step is to train yourself to recognize the test in real time. The enemy's strategy will be speed. He wants to catch you off guard, provoke you before you can think, and lure you into reacting from the flesh. But you can disrupt his plan with awareness. Between now and the 14th, commit to watching for patterns. Moments where you feel unusually sensitive, unusually impatient, or unusually reactive. Notice the people who carry the greatest influence over your emotions. That is where the test will most likely come. Then, tell yourself daily, I am prepared. I will see the test when it comes. Awareness is your first weapon, because you cannot pass a test you don't know you are taking. Next, you must establish emotional grounding and spiritual protection. This is more than just being calm. It is anchoring yourself in God so deeply that no storm can pull you loose. Each morning leading up to August 14th, take time to breathe intentionally, pray aloud over your heart, and declare protection over your mind. Visualize a shield of light surrounding you, heaven's own barrier against offense, confusion, and fear. When you feel tension rising with the person nearest to you, pause before speaking. Count to 7, breathe, and listen for the still small voice. This is not weakness, this is mastery. The person closest to you may expect your usual reaction, but on August 14th, your stillness will be your strength, and your silence will speak louder than any argument could. Spiritual clarity under pressure will be your greatest asset. On August 14th, the energy will be heavy, but clarity will cut through it like a blade. This is where prayer, meditation, and fasting can sharpen your discernment. Begin now by removing unnecessary noise, limit conversations that drain you, cut back on digital distractions, and spend more time in quiet reflection. The more stillness you cultivate before the test, the easier it will be to detect the divine signal in the midst of the chaos. Ask God to reveal your own blind spots before the 14th, so that the mirror you face that day does not shock you into offense. Remember, heaven promotes the prepared. Finally, understand the power of restraint and timing. Not every truth needs to be spoken in the heat of the moment. Sometimes the highest wisdom is to let the storm pass before you address what was revealed. If you feel the urge to lash out, write your thoughts down instead. If you feel the need to defend yourself, ask whether God is truly calling you to speak or whether he is calling you to trust him to vindicate you. On August 14th, prayer may be your greatest weapon, not because it changes the other person in that moment, but because it changes you. Heaven will see that you can choose divine timing over impulsive reaction, and that will mark you as ready for greater influence. And so I give you this final charge. On August 14th, the person nearest to you will hold a mirror to your soul. Some mirrors are made of glass, but this one will be made of flesh. It will not flatter you, and it will not light. Will show you what God already sees. Do not fear it. Pass this test, and the gates you have been praying over, crying over, and waiting on will finally swing open. Fail it, and the lesson will return until you are ready. This is not about them, it is about your destiny, your calling, your next level. God has trusted you with this test because he has already seen you can pass it. So when the moment comes, remember this word. Remember that you were warned. Remember that you are ready. And when the test is over, you will not just walk into your next season. You will run, because nothing and no one will be able to stop what God has unlocked for you. This test will not arrive through a stranger or distant enemy. Will come through the voice, actions, or silence of someone intimately tied to you. A partner, friend, family member, or mentor. It will feel deeply personal because it will pierce where your guard is lowest. They may not even realize they're being used in this way, but heaven will be watching your response closely, not for perfection, but for faithfulness and readiness. The astrological conditions on August 14th will amplify emotional triggers and relationship dynamics. The moon will heighten sensitivity. Venus will stir issues of love, loyalty, and worth, while Mercury will surface long-buried conversations. Saturn will enforce the lesson with karmic weight. These energies will magnify flaws and tensions, especially in your closest bonds. God chooses those nearest to us for such tests because they bypass the masks we wear. A stranger's insult can be ignored, but the words of a loved one reach straight into the soul. The aim isn't to hurt you, it's to expose what must be healed before you step into your next season. Past relational challenges, you face betrayal, misunderstandings, temptations were rehearsals, preparing you for this moment. The test's form will differ for each person. It could be betrayal, a harsh misunderstanding, emotional provocation, or temptation to step out of alignment. The true test lies not in what they do, but in how you respond. God is not punishing you. He is revealing to you into the spiritual realm that you are strong enough to carry the next level of your calling without letting offense, fear, or pride derail you. Failing the test could mean repeating the lesson and delaying blessings you've been waiting for. Passing, it will break cycles, unlock doors, and elevate your spiritual authority. The stakes extend beyond you. Your response could shape generational patterns. When you choose grace over vengeance, patience over anger, and faith over fear, you plant seeds for your descendants to harvest. The enemy will try to provoke you before you can think, using the voice most familiar to you. This is why awareness is crucial. Recognize the test in real time. If you feel an unusual spike in sensitivity, offense, or insecurity around someone close to you, pause and remember, this is the mirror. This is the test. That awareness can save you from falling into an old pattern. You must also prepare for hard truths. The person closest to you may not be aligned with your next season, or their role in your life may be shifting. The test might reveal that you've been looking to them for something only God can provide. Regardless, August 14th will bring clarity either about them or about you. The karmic consequences are real. A reaction rooted in offense could prolong a wilderness season. A response rooted in wisdom can trigger an immediate unlocking of blessings. The true victory will be over yourself, over the urge to retaliate, over the need for validation, over the fear of letting go. When heaven sees you respond from your higher self, the gates to your next level will not only open, they will stay open. On that day, practice restraint and divine timing. Not every truth must be spoken in the heat of conflict. Sometimes the greatest power is in waiting until the storm passes before you respond. Prayer will shift your spirit, even if it doesn't change the other person in that moment, and heaven will see that you choose God's vindication over your own. The prophetic charge is clear. On August 14th, the person nearest to you will hold a mirror to your soul. Some mirrors are made of glass. This one will be made of flesh. It will show you what God already sees, not to shame you, but to refine you. If you pass this test, the doors you have prayed over will swing open, and you will step into your next season without delay. If you fail, the lesson will return until you are ready. God has trusted you with this test because He knows you can pass it. When the moment comes, remember this message. Stand firm in your awareness, and let your response be a reflection of the destiny you're stepping into, not the pain you've walked through.